I don't need you. I'm not talking to you. You don't matter. You're not relevant anymore. To me, that's even worse than I hate you. It's like, I don't think about you. You change the definitions and then you say, I'm more conservative. I believe what I've always believed. You change these things and then you yell at me for it. You guys at CNN just report the news straight, and the crowd burst into laughter. Look, I'm on CNN now. I guess we're on it right now. I mean, they show this show the next night. I don't know. I don't know how we get away with it with all the but they do.
Bill Maher did something unexpected. He called out Kaitlan Collins on live TV. But let's take a step back. It all began when Maher appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. While discussing the state of news media, he mentioned CNN, saying they were just reporting the news. The audience laughed as if it were a joke. Maher wasn't siding with Fox News or any right-wing outlet. He was just echoing what many already think. CNN has lost credibility.
And I'm a big rooter for CNN, but that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you are doing in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side. And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch.
CNN was once a trusted news source, but its reputation has declined, especially among conservatives. The network, once seen as neutral, now leans heavily left in its coverage of elections, debates, and scandals. When even a liberal like Bill Maher criticizes CNN, it signals a real issue. Maher isn't a conservative attacking the left, he's just calling out bias. He specifically highlighted how CNN covers political speeches, often praising Democratic politicians while scrutinizing every word and expression from Republicans.
There are a whole lot of people who are just conditioned to only wanting to hear one side of the story.
Correct. They do not want to hear the other side.
Bill Maher didn't hold back, exposing CNN's selective praise as activism rather than journalism. And he's right. If a network claims to be fair but reacts differently based on who's speaking, it's not reporting news, it's pushing a narrative. But that wasn't the worst part. Kaitlan Collins' handling of Donald Trump at a CNN town hall was even more revealing. She repeatedly pressed him on Ukraine, insisting he take a clear stance. Maher, however, saw it as just another mainstream media attempt to trap Trump.
Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop.
This is a classic example of media manipulation. If Trump had backed Ukraine, CNN might have framed it as him pushing for World War III. If he sided with Russia, he'd be labeled a traitor. There was no right answer because Collins wasn't seeking one. She was chasing a viral moment. But Trump didn't fall for it. Instead, he called for an end to the war, avoiding the trap. Bill Maher caught on and criticized Collins and CNN for pushing an agenda rather than having an honest discussion. He also pointed out how exhausting it is to see journalists act like prosecutors instead of reporters. And he's right. Rather than focusing on policy, Collins seemed more interested in creating a headline for CNN to milk for days.
It's never been allowed to happen. I know he's a friend of yours.
But didn't Putin just withdraw his
He's a friend of
today?
CNN. That's why nobody watches CNN anymore, because they have no credibility. Okay, who else? Yes, please.
Moments like these explain why trust in mainstream media is fading. When reporters focus on setting traps instead of getting real answers, journalism turns into low-rated entertainment. But Bill Maher wasn't done. He exposed one of CNN's biggest cover-ups. If you follow the Hunter Biden laptop story, you know how it played out. Before the 2020 election, the New York Post broke a bombshell report about emails raising serious questions about the Biden family. Instead of investigating, CNN and other outlets dismissed it as Russian disinformation. But now it's confirmed the laptop was real, the emails were real, and even CNN had to acknowledge it. Maher admitted CNN buried the story because it could have influenced the election, calling it outright media suppression. And that's the real issue. If Donald Trump Jr. had been in a similar scandal, CNN would have run endless coverage, panel discussions, and special reports. But when it's Hunter Biden, the so-called free press suddenly goes silent.
I have a relationship with people who want to hear what I think is the truth, and I'm going to present both sides.
Bill Maher's honesty is refreshing because, let's face it, most liberal commentators wouldn't dare touch the story. But he did, and in doing so, he exposed a major flaw in today's media. News outlets should hold all politicians accountable, not just the ones they oppose. That's the reality CNN refuses to acknowledge. They proudly call themselves defenders of democracy, but what kind of democracy is it when the media decides which stories to cover based on political convenience? It's ironic how the free press suddenly forgets how to report when it involves their own side.
I don't say the things that please people all the time, but that's my ultimate bond with the audience. When I lose people, it's like, okay, well, you were never meant to be with me in the first place.
Yeah.
We can't have a relationship.
Bill Maher exposed CNN's selective coverage, media traps, and suppression of inconvenient stories, but he didn't stop there. He called out their double standards, highlighting how they manipulate public opinion rather than simply reporting the news. When a Democrat speaks, CNN praises it as presidential and unifying, but when a Republican takes the stage, every word is scrutinized and framed as dangerous. Maher believes CNN isn't just biased, they're activists curating the news to fit their narrative. While criticism of CNN's slant isn't new, hearing it from Maher, a liberal, not a conservative, makes it clear that their credibility is crumbling beyond just right-leaning audiences. This brings us to Kaitlan Collins, a face of the new CNN, where reporters claim neutrality while pushing an agenda. She tried to trap Trump and maintain CNN's illusion of credibility, but Maher wasn't fooled. By calling it out, he proved that even within liberal circles, CNN's reputation is falling apart.
Stupid question, and you got just the answer you deserve. And that is why they like them.
Yeah.
So what did we just witness? Bill Maher proving that even CNN's biggest defenders are starting to see the cracks. For years, CNN branded itself as the gold standard of journalism, the last line of defense against misinformation and a responsible alternative to partisan media. But Maher exposed their manipulation tactics, and Kaitlan Collins wasn't ready for the reality check. What do you think? Did Maher just expose CNN? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.